I would like to ask Katie to join us, our next speaker, Ketevan Bosikashvili, CEO of Supernova, PulsarAI Georgia, founder of BiteriumAI, my friend and colleague and expert with the roles of CTO and CEO at different startups. And I would like to add that she is one of the most active and experienced tech women in Georgia connected to creation innovative products. Lately, there has been a lot of interest in ChatGPT and the engines behind that. We read a lot around that. I think it's a special treat to learn more from the person who was leading the process of creation, the Georgian language chatbot called Jipitauri, built on GPT 3.5, and see what challenges were encountered during the testing process. Personally, I'm chatting time after time with Jipitauri. Even yesterday, I had the chance to ask about our webinar, and I got answer quite a big one about the AI at all, like overall. And not to go much more longer, just Katie, I think you can start your presentation.
Hello, so do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Katie, and I am CEO at PulsarAI Georgia, Supernova. We have two names. I'd love to introduce PulsarAI shortly. So, PulsarAI was established in 2017, and it is the first AI-based tech startup that was acquired by the biggest merchandising company, Impel, in USA 2 years ago. And in that time, PulsarAI divided into two parts, Georgian and American part. And Georgian part was renamed as Supernova. So we have the history of creating SaaS products. And we started from Georgian language chatbots, created powerful AI components, and worked very hard with linguists. So reached the highest retention rate of users, then started working on big data analysis, so transaction validation, control, image processing, payment fraud prevention, and many, many more. And the whole time, we have been facing challenges related to testing AI models and AI-based products. Generally, we all agree that AI is making our lives easier in many ways. We never imagined starting from, for example, chatbots, transaction validations, ending with self-driving cars, and even helping law courts derive smarter decisions. However, we need to believe that AI generates correct answers and responses that are also both ethical and unbiased. So based on our experience, I can say that it's becoming more difficult and challenging to predict the system's expected output and behavior. My colleagues will agree that traditional testing techniques are based on fixed inputs and producing certain fixed outputs. Test cases are no longer expected to pass with an accuracy of 100%, but are replaced by a set of metrics. These metrics are expected to meet certain level of acceptability to ensure viable deployment. The challenge here is that with every new version of ML model, evaluation and acceptance tests need to be carried out to ensure an acceptable level of performance. So I'd love to highlight the challenges we face during this time. One of them is trust AI responses. So AI systems are complex to test because they are generally non-deterministic. This means that if you give a system the same input value, you cannot always guarantee the same output value. And the output of the system depends on what data it has previously seen. One of the challenges around testing of AI is the ability to reproduce and explain a set of results. Ultimately, the real challenge is convincing everyone that AI system can be trusted with important decisions. Next, very important part is bias, which also was mentioned by my colleagues. In everyday life, people and data have biases, right? All this can become embedded in AI systems as well. So, for example, if we say that the relative number of women in technology is smaller than the number of men, which can lead AI to be biased in favor of men when deciding who is more likely to succeed in a technology-based role. So machines get biased because the training data they are fed may not be fully representative of what you are trying to teach them, says IBM Chief Science Officer for Cognitive Computing. Also, there is Effectiva. So this is a company which works on emotion recognition software and analysis system. And as Effectiva's head of product strategy and marketing explains, preventing bias is in data sets is largely a manual effort. In here, organization which uses facial recognition to measure consumer responses to marketing materials, they select a culturally diverse set of images from more than 75 countries to train their AI system to recognize emotion in faces. While emotional expressions are largely universal, they do sometimes vary across cultures. For example, a smile that appears less pronounced in one culture might actually convey the same level of happiness as a smile in another culture. Her organization also labels all the images with their corresponding emotion by hand and tests every single AI algorithms to verify the accuracy. The next one is ethical behavior. Now, how do we test for ethical and not ethical behavior? So how can we handle it, you may ask, right? An example is where for example, a self-driving car swerves as a left out of the way of oncoming vehicle and collides with a group of adults waiting at a bus stop, or swerves right and collides with a person or grandmother, for example. Awful, right? Next one is amount of data. Another challenge that testers face while they are testing AI-based systems is the amount of data required to test the system. Approaching restricted data items will not provide statistical assurance of the system. That opens the gate to another challenge for testers as to what kind of skills should a tester have and how should they interact with these systems of that complexity level. Here we are, skills are required, and my college also explained and showed us the full agenda, what kind of skills are needed. Sometimes testing the algorithms, data volumes, or solution complexity can be as complex as solutions themselves. It requires extensive technical and data science expertise from the testers, making AI testers' job different from any manual and automation tester. In that case, researchers say that the agile approach and interdisciplinary approach to the testing process would help testers understand more about the algorithms and their functionalities. So now about chat, that was overall introduction of our challenges, what we have faced. And now let's talk about ChatGPT. So generative AI and GPT apps and use cases. Everything started more and more interesting when ChatGPT has been announced and then was launched, right? Everybody knows that it's a chatbot developed by OpenAI, powered by GPT. It's designed to give quick answers and carry on conversations with users based on context in a natural and engaging way. So ChatGPT can be used in a variety of applications such as customer support, personal assistant, language learning and translation, content generation, code writing, and debugging. But you have to take into account that this chatbot, ChatGPT, does not have an awareness of events or news that have occurred since 2021. So here you may ask, can we trust it? There was a publication where Department of Political Science, Brigham University, made a research how close humans and GPT responses are. They hired about 3,000 individuals through the survey platform to evaluate about 8,000 texts produced by human and GPT-3 survey respondents without any indication of which was which. Each individual evaluated 8 randomly assigned lists, with each text evaluated by 3 different individuals. So you can see here the results. They are very close to each other. And also there you can see some differences, but this is a AI-based generative model, but more or less GPT generated precise outcomes. So finally, let's go to Jipitauri. Jipitauri is, and let me introduce Jipitauri. Yes, this is GPT 3.5 and translation service-based Georgian chatbot, which was created for the research purpose. Idea was to collect data, analyze, and find out weaknesses of translation service and improve it. But we faced the limitation of GPT. People were complaining about facts and news, traffic and also traffic and usage were high. Everybody was asking who started the war in Ukraine, is Russia the occupant or not? So because of outdated information, most responses were inaccurate. We started thinking how to test and then fine-tune optimized prompts for ChatGPT. Manual testing was not enough, but anyway, we analyzed data, enriched GPT-3 with Georgia-specific historical and current facts, and improved the situation. But after months, usage and interest were still high, and we decided to go deeper. In the first version of Jipitauri, we implemented the very simple light display evaluation mechanism of conversation and translations as well. We started to identify the most important topics and analyze sentiment. We started with removing noise from data sets, find a correlation between sentence lengths and like-dislike options, find out different topics. We got a very poor, but yes, as a result, we got a very poor results, identified the top 5 topics. You can see here the topics. Overall sentiment was also negative due to the incomplete data. Additional actions were necessary to see the outcomes better. And we we added an additional valuation option. You can now rate answers in a different way and explain what don't you like or what you like. And if you don't like the answer, why don't you like? So you can write some comment there on just check, I don't like, for example, because of meaning or because of translation, because of outdated data, etc., etc. And yes, and now everybody can contribute in gathering really useful data, which then we will analyze and find out these weaknesses, what we are gonna what we want to achieve. So let's test and improve natural language processing skills together. Here you can see the link of Jipitauri. You can click on this so go to this URL, chat.supernova.g, and ask questions, enjoy it, and so rate the conversation. But before I end up with my speech, so I'd love to end up with one or more words about GPT-4. Despite its relatively young age, GPT-4 has already demonstrated impressive abilities, such as writing new websites from a simple wireframe mockup or creating fully functioning iOS application from a simple description. Tools like GitHub, Copilot, powered by GPT-3 and similar models have already demonstrated the potential of large language models, LLM, to empower engineers to achieve more in less time. As a result, we can predict an increase in software engineers' productivity and increase in management expectations, of course. But challenges still remains more or less the same. GPT-4 has been designed to reduce biases, but there is still a risk that models trained on GPT models trained on biased data sets can perpetuate or even amplify existing biases, which would then reflect itself into the resulting code or products it might contribute to. So my final word is that therefore it's up to developers, researchers, and society as a whole to ensure that we use AI language generation technology in an ethical and responsible manner. With the right approach, we can unlock the full potential of GPT-4 and other AI language generative tools and help each other. So thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Katie, very much for interesting information and sharing more information about Jipitauri and GPT and a lot of different things connected to each other.